Hello, my name is Andrew Perry, and today I'm going to be talking about the CSE 212 Week 5 interview question, which is let me pull up my notes here, what are two potential pitfalls of using recursion? So, like in your structure, in your design, what are two of the issues with recursion? How can you overcome these challenges, either by using an alternative technique or doing something to help the recursion itself? So the first one, and one of the more obvious ones, is actually a stack overflow. So when you call a recursion, it's a function that calls itself inside that function. So a good example for this is finding the factors of a large number, right? When you need to find the factors of a large number, once you find a number that is a factor, you can then go on to find factors of that smaller number. So that would be recursive. But if you had an astronomically huge number, you might end up with too many frames in the stack. I think I'm using that technical term correctly. So one of the ways to get around this is to use an iterative loop instead of a recursive function. That way, even though you're looping over this information multiple times, it's not actually adding more to the stack, and so there's no risk of a stack overflow. The second issue, similarly, is poor performance. In my notes here, I wrote poor performance due to redundant calculation. So the idea being, I really like the factor example, actually. If you have 2 to the 10th power, and you end up with your recursive function a lot of 4s, well, every time you need to find the factors of 4, it's always going to be 2 and 2. And so because that's something that we know and it's well established, instead of calculating that each time, once it's first calculated, you could store that in temporarily in a memory, like in a dictionary, right? And that way, the next time it comes across it, it'll check. And that comes really in handy with larger data structures. So two problems, those are two problems, or two potential pitfalls with using recursion, and those are two solutions. And I hope you learned something interesting. All right, bye-bye.